It's like your triplets.
Yeah, you don't know which one is which, do you? I'll start it right now. This is Plant Rescue.
Woohoo! Plant rescue.
Another week of Plant Rescue. And Mike has a, a very exciting experience with mushrooms. Is that a good adjective?
I mean, here's the thing about mushrooms. They're absolutely, if you want to really just delve into something that is so fascinating, what they're doing with mushrooms as far as like the mycelium, because mushrooms are their own kingdom. So you have the plant kingdom, you have the animal kingdom, which some of us are a part of, and then some of us. I don't want to be too broad here. I want to make sure, because anyway, listen. And then you have the fungi, the mushrooms and fungus. That's their own kingdom, and it's absolutely the largest organism on the planet. Is, guess what? It's a mushroom. It's a mushroom
very interesting
colony, or whatever you want to call it, and it's all one plant. If it's not a plant, they're all one big fungus, and it's in Eastern Oregon, and it's like 1,200 square kilometers or some insane huge, and it's all one organism.
Wow.
So plants, when you get to mushrooms, it's absolutely. Then you got the whole therapeutic end of it. They're using the psychedelic mushrooms for treating PTSD. They're finding it very effective for that. They're using a mycelium. They're thinking of using mycelium to break down plastics, because it'll break down any. Technically, plastics they're made from oil. And they're thinking they could probably get some sort of the mycelium culture and to break down the plastic. So there's like all these amazing industrial applications, medical applications. I was talking with one of my daughters, and she had a friend he was a pro football player, and he was dealing with some psychological issues, and he started microdosing with mushrooms, and he said it really helped him. He felt like he turned the corner taking, microdoses, small doses. But there's other people that do the bigger doses, and there's all kinds of they're doing studies now that they've never really done with the psychedelics, and then the industrial applications with mushrooms. And then mushrooms have vitamin B, and it's not. I think there's a few plants that have vitamin B in them, but it's unusual for plants to contain vitamin B, where mostly you get your vitamin B from proteins and meats and animal products, whereas mushrooms, some of the mushrooms have a lot of vitamin B in them, along with a lot of other really healthy nutrients and vitamins and minerals and all that kind of stuff. So, so we started growing mushrooms. We started growing organic. They're all organic, I guess, because you're not using chemicals. But we started growing gourmet mushrooms, and it's fascinating. The cool thing is you can go online, you can buy a brick of mycelium, and like you can buy it for oyster mushrooms or lobster mushrooms, or there's a zillion different types, shiitakes, and you buy a block, and they send you this block of mycelium, and the mycelium would. Think of it like the roots of the mushroom. That's what the mycelium is.
Okay.
And so you get this block, and so you put it in the right environment. You keep the heat and light. You have to adjust your lighting. So you can buy these little tents to grow them in. You just put them in there for a few weeks, and you have gorgeous, delicious shiitakes. They've got we grew chestnuts, and they're just beautiful, amazing looking mushrooms. I mean, we had big oyster mushrooms that were probably 10, 12 inches tall, and then we had lobsters, and then they've got lion's mane and bear's beard and all these different variants of different mushrooms. It's really fascinating. And
so you did this for a while, right? A few years. You were
we grew them for probably about 6-8 months. And then my business partners, they had, I was doing it with one of my son-in-laws and a business partner, and they just, they had families, as
Sure.
My son-in-law had a baby, and our grandson was born, and that was like a big ordeal. And so it was just like they just said, hey, other things happen. You can, that's the one thing about growing mushrooms. If you're trying to do it commercially, it's kind of expensive because you have to have tents and lights and fans and, extra heating, extra electricity. It's kind of expensive, but it's really, it was fun and fascinating, and I really enjoyed it for the time I did it. But I'm not young anymore, and I just thought, this is cool, but
so there's a market. There's a pretty big market for it, or how? What would be the? Would you ship it to grocery stores or something?
Well, it's like anything. You can kind of jump in on different levels. Like there's people that sell just these spores. You can actually buy spores for any mushroom, so you could buy spores for psychedelic cubensis. You could buy spores for anything. You're not allowed to grow them. It's only for scientific research, but you're sending them out to whoever wants them, and they'll sell spores. And there's people that sell that. And then you can sell the bricks that are completed with mycelium. You can send those out with gourmet mushrooms, edible mushrooms that you can eat, and you can send those out. People buy that. There's a lot of different, and then there's there's wild mushrooms. You can actually go out in the woods. My son-in-law did that with his cousin one day, and he got like 25 pounds of amazing wild mushrooms, and it's anywhere from 18 to 25 bucks a pound.
Ooh. Wow.
But you have to have resources because they don't last. I mean,
I see.
Maybe good for
reason. You got it.
Well, you can dry them.
Oh, okay.
You can dry them. You can dry them. Yeah, you could dry them. And I remember. I don't know if you remember growing up. We were always told growing up, "Oh yeah, so died of eating."
Yeah, don't eat the mushrooms.
Yeah, don't eat wild mushrooms. But once you get into it, the ones that are poisonous are in the minority, and the ones that are edible are pretty distinctive. There might be some crossover, but I think you can get around it. And if you can't, well, you're not going to last very long.
Yeah, I got a few in my yard. I mean, they're pretty big.
Yeah, I wouldn't eat those.
I could dry them. What? Don't eat them? I thought you just said eat them.
I didn't say eat them. I said dry them. Well, I don't know which ones you got in your yard. I mean,
Well, should I eat them or not? That's the question.
That is a question. You got to answer. I can't answer that for you because I don't know what they are. So, yeah, it's fascinating. And it is, if you want to get into something where you can make good money, there are guys like you can grow them and go down to like a farmer's market.
Yeah.
You collect your bunch and you can sell them at the farmer's market, and people, I mean, fresh. I did it. I mean, I grew, I chopped. So we grew a bunch, and my neighbor's a chef. So I brought him some, him and his partner some, and they were fantastic. We just fry them up with butter and, a little bit of sprinkle with garlic powder. And boy, they're just amazing. It's like, you go down to the store, get a shiitake, you can make it's like a burger. It's almost, once you fry them up, it's different than meat, but it's, you can make a sandwich out of it. It's very good. Anyway, I'll tell you what, the whole mushroom thing is it's fantastically huge. It's a whole universe in and of itself. There's if anybody wants, look up Paul Stamets. He's a guy up in Washington. This guy does mushroom research for DARPA. Okay. I mean, his stuff is going to DARPA.
So got a website and everything that you can.
Oh yeah, Paul Stamets. Just look him up online. He's a fascinating guy. There's Fantastic Fungi on Netflix. There's an amazing documentary, and I think Paul Stamets is featured in that one. The story about how he got literally turned on to mushrooms, and it's a fascinating story. Yeah, it really is. There's so many benefits to health benefits to mushrooms, from the psychedelics to just the regular mushrooms, and you can get them dried. They're using them for teas, and they're very healthy. They're just, it's just amazing. Yeah. So
that the Soruba Seed Treatment has fungi in it, so I'm assuming that it comes from the.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You get into soil treatment and the soil, the microbes. They found out that trees will use the mycelium, and this is unbelievably fascinating. There's a whole study on this end too, to communicate with one another. That way, trees will send chemical chemical information to their offspring. Tree will drop seeds, those trees will grow up, and they found that the plants actually use the mycelium, so that they're not really roots, but it would imagine them as roots, the mushroom roots, to communicate chemically with each other. Like, so when the tree is stressed out from like drought or something, it'll send a message to the other trees. Help me!
Right.
Help me! I'm drowning.
I need some Soruba seed
Yeah,
treatment.
I need some Soruba. Call Soruba 811. Anyway,
I was going to grab hold on, I'm going to grab a seed packet. I think it's got it on the back.
Yeah, grab it. Wait, do I have one sitting here? I might have one sitting here. Yes, I do. Here, I got one right here, Chris. I keep it handy. Soruba Seed Treatment. What do we got in here? You don't want to use it with soil fumigants.
I'm looking. I mean,
no.
Oh,
you don't want. So you don't want to have fungicides in, like, if you have fertilizers or soil treatments with fungicides, right? You don't want that, because that'll kill.
Fungicide. I saw it. Anyways, I'm just looking at the ingredients on the Soruba seed packet, and it has the Bacillus inactive metallic. Okay. Here it says, okay, do not use with soil fumigants.
Yeah.
Can be applied with common fungicides and fertilizers if done in separate tanks. Anyways, that's where I may have picked it up. Like, okay, that's okay.
Well, you don't want to just, some of those things will kill microbes and that kind of thing. So you don't want to do that. But yeah, the microbes within, and that's what, so when mushrooms release their spores and the mycelium starts to spread, they eat organic material. So like all those big oil spills in the ocean, and then they can't find the oil spills because they're gone.
Right.
That's the microbes in the ocean eat it. And so the mycelium in mushrooms, from the mushroom spores, the mycelium actually breaks down all kinds of organic matter, oil.
Maybe it was in the barnyard bio that it's in the barnyard bio. Maybe that's
Our buddy Ernie used to work at a wrecking yard. He took a couple of gallons of barnyard bio, and that's, when you're dealing with old cars, old engines, they're dropping oil. And Ernie started spraying barnyard bio on the oil spills in his wrecking yard, and just clean it topically. It takes time for it to work down into the soil, but it would take care of and break it down topically. So yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. And the barnyard bile, the actual barnyard bile, we're going to actually make a wine out of that.
That sounds really interesting.
You said barnyard bile, so I was like taking that, switching it over.
I don't even know. Yeah, we don't even want to go
barnyard bile.
How that thought process kind of works around to
if you want barnyard bile, you're gonna have to collect it yourself. We don't have.
We're not gonna do it.
We're not doing that. We're not going there.
You're not going there. Bye yo. So it's
that's pretty cool. The mushroom thing is pretty awesome.
And I would like to one of these days I'll have to try it. Use the Soruba treatment in the I don't know if it would work so well with mushrooms, because they kind of do the same thing. They're breaking down the organic matter and turning it into something that plants can use.
The seed treatment would actually, it kind of emulsifies the soil, so it has more water. So and I don't know if you want, for a mushroom, do you want it to be dry, or do you want it to be moist?
No,
it's moist, right? Real moist areas.
I'm sure there's different, like anything, different varieties. The ones we grew, mostly you wanted a very moist, very damp environment.
So that would probably be beneficial, I'm assuming, because that's what it does.
I mean, it makes sense that it would.
Soil, and you don't have to water as frequently. More drought resistant. That helps survive during drought type stresses for plants that have the Soruba seed treatment. And speaking of Soruba Seed Treatment, if you want your own free sample of it, you just go to SorubaUSA.com and subscribe to the website, and we will send you a free sample. You can try it on your mushrooms or your whatever
Yeah,
you
just
want to try it.
sprinkle it on there. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's the
sprinkle
thing. The most of the spores you get, and so if you buy a brick of it, you could try it. I guess you could just kind of bore down into it and put some of that in there, and then the spores come in a liquid form. So the spores are suspended in like a distilled water or something, and you can try it in there. Yeah, that might work. I mean, it's interesting to see if it would make a difference, and yeah. So
Wow, I like it. I may have to try eating for all you who are watching at home, don't go out in your backyard and eat any of your mushrooms unless you know for sure
it's
whether
edible.
they
Yeah.
will kill you or not.
There's some really weird strains of mushrooms that like I got a bunch of wood chips when we had some huge storms, knocked down all kinds of trees in Salem, and so they chipped them, and you could just go collect the wood chips, and it was a mix of hardwood and conifers and
Right.
deciduous conifers, and so I did that, and I just had it piled up in a pile in my backyard for quite a while, and these weird mushrooms, usually because what you have is the mushroom cap when it opens up. You have the smooth part on the top, and then if you look on the other side, the spores are created and they drop out. And there's these little fine spines or fins on the underside of the mushroom, and the spores are suspended in there. And when the cap opens up, they drop out, and there's billions of them probably. But anyway, but I was getting these weird mushrooms where they were inverted, so it was the exact. I'd never seen anything like it. The exact opposite. The spines were on the top, and so when the cap opened up, it was like backwards or upside down or something. It was weird. Anyway, so there's all kinds. I would not eat anything like that. I would.
Well, very interesting, and we'll probably leave it at that. We'll I think it's a good, very interesting topic. Yeah.
But SorubaUSA.com, baby. Nothing to it. Get your free sample. Get yourself your free sample. Bam.
Bye.